What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to show my progress so far on training a Japanese model in Tortoise TTS. So I'm just going to go ahead and jump straight into it. And here we are. So I got Tortoise here. And so I'm going to play through some samples first, and then I'll go through the way that I went about training it and the way that I'm continuing training it. So I got some samples here on this file explorer. And let me explain real quick what they mean. So learning rate, this is the learning rate that is set inside of the training tab. And then the epoch is the amount of training that has occurred. So these are actually steps, not epochs, so I misnamed them. But this is the learning rate right here. So this is what I'm talking about. The higher the learning rate, the faster the model learns. So this is the sentence I'm going to be using right here, and it's from the validation dataset. So it wasn't in the training set. And then I'm going to play two different models. So I'm going to play this one, which was my first round of training with a lower learning rate. And this is going to be the latest model or the most trained model. And then I'm going to play one from the second set of training that I did from a lower epoch. This one I actually only trained for probably close to around 2 hours, whereas this one was almost an entire day. So lower learning rate first.
当日はウォチューさんのココアさんがお誕生日ということで、運命的なもの、的なものを感じました。もう一つ。当日はウォチューさんのココアさんがお誕生日ということで、運命的なものを感じました。もう一つ。
Alright, so if you couldn't hear too much of a difference between them, in my opinion, the one that has the lower training rate actually sounds a little bit worse, even though I've trained it for much longer than the one that I've trained for less with a higher learning rate. Additionally, the one that I trained for longer artifacts quite a bit more when I try to run an inference or a generation on it. So I have this bad audio sample that I'm going to play, and this is what happens more often than not when I'm trying to generate with the one that I trained for longer.
当日はウォチューさんのココアさんがお誕生日ということで、運命的なものを感じました。もう一つ。
So as you can tell, it sounded like a demon was inside of that audio file, and not too good. So what I found interesting was that the learning rate that was set higher but trained for less actually sounded better than the one that had a lower learning rate and that trained for longer. So I'm currently running more training on this second training run to see if the model will get better as it goes along longer. And if you're wondering about how these ones sound, for example, the 1825, this one took about 3 hours to train. It's more or less the same performance as the one that was trained for longer. So that's been so far my observation with the training, but I'll have to see once this one is finished. Maybe there is a little bit of overtraining that is occurring. So let me go ahead and explain a little bit more on my methodology for training Japanese inside of Tortoise TTS. And I am using the default tokenizer. So this is the biggest difficulty I was running into, was how do I get a BPE by pair encoding tokenizer for Tortoise TTS to work. And so I wasn't able to get a BPE tokenizer for Japanese working, as the model actually uses a custom tokenizer that's 255 values wide, something like that. And I just used the standard one here. So all I did was convert the Japanese, because Japanese uses something called kanji, which are kind of like symbols. I used that to convert it into the Latin alphabet here. And so what I did was I trained on that Latin alphabet instead of the kanji. So if we go into the training dataset here inside of the train txt file, all of this has been Latinized, and I don't have any of those Japanese characters inside of here. And so when I am inferencing on it and doing a generation, I'm just using those Latin alphabet characters to do the generation on. Now, I do think it would be possible if you do have a Japanese tokenizer, but I also think the way that they do it in XTTS, they kind of follow this same methodology as well. So the library that I used to do this was called Cutlet, and it's a Python library that allows you to turn the Japanese characters into Romaji or Latin characters, and that does it for you all automatically. So I prepared my dataset beforehand and then ran it into Tortoise. So far training is going pretty good. I think I'll be able to have a Japanese model on this that I can then fine tune to other voices, and I think I'm making good progress on it so far. So the interesting thing I did find out and just wanted to talk about was this learning rate here. seems like the higher the learning rate, in this case for training another language, the better it seems to generalize and the quicker it seems to generalize. So that's about it. Thank you so much to the members of my channel for supporting me, and hopefully you guys continue finding this stuff useful. So I'll see you guys later.